Let's take a look at some of the railway counters because they have been flying high of late, and today once again they are seeing some sort of weakness, be it Railtel, be it Rail Vikas Nigam, be it IRFC, Texmaco Rail, as well as Titagarh, all of them down and out in today's trading session. Take a look at what is happening to BHEL because that particular counter was also down in trade today. JSW Energy also saw some sort of a profit booking for the second consecutive session. You have some of the small cap players, or rather some of the Nifty 500 players that have been falling over the last 15 minutes. Let me outline some of them. One is Jindal Stainless has fallen about 2% in the last 15 minutes. You have JK Paper that continues to be under pressure. Linde India is under pressure. Bharat Dynamics, Godrej Industries, Coforge. These are some of the counters that are actually losing out over the last 15 minutes or so. So yes, broader markets is a point of worry at this point in time because once again we are seeing some sort of a weakness coming. But yes, you rightly put it, Shrishti, that one particular sector that is actually staying true to its name, and that is defensive, and that is Pharma Index, because that one definitely continues to hold on to gains in an otherwise volatile market session. No doubt some of them have lost steam in the last 15 minutes, but still holding on to positive gains, isn't it?
Well, yes, and look at the index that is still holding a gains of around 0.4%. And what's been happening in this particular space, despite the fact that the US prices are seen to be inching up, India business is supportive, but key to note is that there are so many reports related to big M&As in the sector. All throughout the past month, we have been tracking about what's happening with Cipla and Torrent and the rest of the players involved. That's still in the play. But now what we are getting to understand that America's Biogen Pharma is looking to sell its biosimilar business. So let's go across to my colleague Sharad Dubey for more on this. So Sharad, how big is this development could be, why it is important to track, and any Indian players that could be looking at this opportunity?
Well, yes, you're right. This Biogen entire industry, actually, they're looking at cost-cutting measures. Now they're actually evaluating various options, trying to sell their biosimilar business. Now, of course, you're looking at it, market is actually believing that they might actually sell it to Samsung Biosim. Also, do remember they're having a long-term agreement going ahead with these both companies. But the brokerages, especially Macquarie, is believing that there is an Indian player also, and the name is Dr. Reddy's. That is where something over there a deal can happen. And of course, Dr. Reddy's has aggressive plans already set up to actually increase its biosimilar business. Now, this is for the developed markets of US as well as the European region. Now, looking at the cash balance itself, that is also standing at almost roughly, you could say, $608 million. And Dr. Reddy's could be the best suitor among the Indian players as well. Now, what will happen is it will add a kind of a missing commercialization piece which would be coming in for the biosimilar business, and this would actually boost the pipeline as well as the top line numbers going ahead. And the brokerages are bullish on Dr. Reddy's actually getting the deal. Now, they have Dr. Reddy's recently collaborated with Merck, but a strategy change at Merck did not let this early strides to materialize, and this is why the impact is there that Dr. Reddy's would need a new chain on biosimilars when it comes to the product portfolio. Now, Dr. Reddy's also mentioned that they don't have a strong front-end sales infrastructure as per the brokerages, and the Biogen's biosimilar business could actually provide this missing commercialization. So this would actually augur well for the company.
Right, so that is what is at play when it comes to Biogen, and why Dr. Reddy's is also in focus. You have Macquarie's note that's come out on why Dr. Reddy's is in focus, Sharad. But also we have amidst us the researcher who tracks actually pharma sector, and there is a lot of reason why Ajanta Pharma is soaring in trade, isn't it, Shrishti? But that sort of a data applies to the rest of the pharma players, isn't it?
Well, yes, absolutely. Cheryl, Indian pharma market, that's how Indian pharma has grown in the month of August. That data is out, and for the third consecutive month, we have seen moderate kind of a growth coming in, being in mid-single digit, which is for the month of August has come in at 5.8% on a YOY basis. But looking at the July data for July 2023, then Indian pharma market grew by 6.3%. So not much to read into this particular number, but key to note is that the growth was mainly driven by the price hikes. In this, if we do some bifurcation, then three particular segments have performed well, wherein cardiac, gastro as well as gynae have done well and grown in the range of 7 to 9%, and the respiratory and anti-infectives have seen a decline of 4 and 3% respectively. That could have impacted the overall pharma sector as well. But leisure focus to the companies now, and like you pointed, Ajanta Pharma, that's soaring in trade, 8.5% uptick coming in for Ajanta Pharma, and that's because the we have seen Indian Pharma growing by 5.8%, but Ajanta Pharma in the same time has grown by 11.6%. And that's because their ophthalmic therapy, which contributes around 29% of their overall sales, has seen a jump of 27%. That's the key trigger. Pain therapy, which constitutes around 8% of the sales, has seen a jump of 17% on a YY basis, and even derma, 20% of their sales, has seen a jump of 13%. So all these three segments have done and shown double-digit growth for itself. And the second player that has done well is Intas. Other than that, if we talk about the companies who didn't do that well, were Glaxo as well as PNG Health. They have seen a decline of 4.5% to 5% for the month of August. So that was a roundup of the IPM data for the month of August, but definitely Ajanta Pharma is the key winner.
Absolutely, Ajanta Pharma is a key winner in the otherwise weak market. Look at the stock, 8% uptick coming in for Ajanta Pharma. But let's put the spotlight on the pharma index as a whole. Which are the top bets that you need to watch out for? What are the concerns that you need to watch out for? Let's bring on board our experts for today. We have Hemen Kapadia joining us, as well as Ashish Maheshwari. A very good morning to you, Hemen, as well as Ashish. Thank you so much for joining us on ET Now. And Ashish, let me come first to you, and let's talk about the pharma sector as a whole. You know, after the COVID rally, everyone kind of forgot about the sector last year altogether. But this year looks like pharma is coming back with all the gusto. A pure defensive play over the last two trading sessions, when you saw actually the rest of the market under pressure. Pharma definitely was standing true to its name that it's a defensive sector. Where do you see pharma headed from here on? Which are the stocks that in the pharma space that you need to watch out for? And what are the headwinds that you need to keep in mind while investing?
Yes, I agree with you. Right now, pharma is a burrow where everybody like to hide, given the kind of volatility is there in the mid cap and small caps. And even if you see last 3 month performance, this is not something that pharma has underperformed. It has also given almost 20% return, Nifty Pharma Index. And from 15,750, it is still available at 15,400. So confidence is there in this particular pack. And if we go in the deep, like what are the rationales why this sector will continue to do well? There are various things. First, US market is again picking up, and their drug shortage is almost at 5-year high. So whatever the pressure related to margin or inventory were there, they are over now. And we have seen in the last quarter also the margins of companies which are primarily supplying to US market from 100 to even 500 basis points, margin improvement was there. So overall in this year, I'm expecting at least 250 to 400 basis point margin improvement in almost all the pharma companies. This is one major reason. Second is one drug which is cancer related drug, Revlimid. This is going generic now, and it is giving almost $1 billion opportunity to pharma companies. And our companies like Cipla, Dr. Reddy, Zydus, Sun, they are having another $500 million opportunity on account of that drug. And another thing which is keeping this sector in limelight, a lot of M&As and fundraising plan like Cipla, they are looking for sale. Glenmark, they are planning to raise money. In Biogen, they are also looking for equity infusion because they would like to retire some of the debt. So many things are there in this sector, more company specific though. But in my view, this is a sector which will be in limelight now, at least for this quarter, because those aggressive valuation sector like railways or defense or power will take slight breather, and pharma will continue to do well in my view.
Okay, so this particular sector is expected to continue to do well in this quarter as well, and you can have a look at that. That's the Ashish take coming in on the pharma sector. But Hemen, coming to you, how do you see the pharma index, and specifically what's your outlook on Dr. Reddy's as well as Ajanta Pharma, which are in focus on the back of the news flow? And apart from them, any other counter that you wish to highlight for our viewers that is looking attractive to you?
A very good afternoon to you, Srishti. Thank you for having me. I think if I just briefly have a look at the Nifty Pharma Index, firstly, one of the stronger indices because it posted a fresh all-time high last month. And this was after a almost 1.5 to 2 year correction. So it took time, it took price to retrace. And now we sort of, we've started a journey with a fresh all-time high. And has resumed its longer term uptrend after a 1.5, 2 year hiatus, which is good, made it healthy. So currently the setup is positive. We are above important moving averages. The mechanical indicators on the daily chart as far as the Nifty Pharma index are just about giving a crossover buy. So frankly speaking, we seem set to do well. Selectively though, I think many stocks are all over the place. I have a feeling Sun Pharma looks interesting. We've had a 4-5 week correction. We're on the verge of overcoming a recent swing high, and the daily picture has improved significantly. And on the longer term, though, we remain safely ensconced in uptrend. We have been for the last 3.5 years and counting. So Sun Pharma is something which looks positively interesting. Shashi.